You know, sometimes life just blindsides you. One minute, you're rolling home on a sunny afternoon with nothing more on your mind than whether you remembered to grab the right brand of coffee, and the next you're standing in your driveway, holding a melting bag of groceries, being accused of destroying a neighborhood you only moved into 6 months ago. That's where it all started for me. A totally ordinary day, a small personal victory at the grocery store, and a driveway I was proud to call mine, right up until the first shot across the bow. And let me tell you, I never saw it coming. I hadn't even closed the trunk when I heard her voice, sharp, condescending, just dripping with that kind of superiority you can practically smell. I would think your landlord would have higher standards for tenants than to let one of you people drive a car that leaks oil all over the concrete. I froze, honest to God, like a deer in headlights. I turned slow, groceries dangling from my hands, and there she was, my next-door neighbor, perfectly manicured, hair so tight it probably ached, standing right on the property line as if she was daring me to cross it. I'd seen her before, obsessively trimming hedges or glaring at squirrels, but we'd never spoken. And I just remember thinking, really? This is happening? Over a phantom oil stain? I tried to keep my voice level. Excuse me? But my brain was lagging, still replaying her words. Landlord? I own this place. One of you people? My car is spotless. And so was the driveway, save for a couple of faded stains left by the previous owner. But she wasn't here for facts. She was here for a fight. Don't play dumb, she said, pointing at nothing. You're degrading the neighborhood's aesthetic and property values with your carelessness. That's when I realized it wasn't about oil. It wasn't about the driveway at all. It was about me, and the barely disguised disgust in her voice left no room for doubt. I said as calmly as I could, "There's nothing here." But that only seemed to rile her up. "It's the principle," she spat. "People like you don't understand the rules. You don't appreciate what it takes to maintain a certain standard." Her kids were learning from my negligence. My mind was reeling. Was this real life? Over nothing? I tried to disengage, turn back to my groceries, but she wasn't finished. "Oh, you're not going anywhere," she declared. "I've already called my lawyer. He's on his way. For an oil stain that didn't exist." I almost laughed, but before I could even set foot inside, a silver sedan pulled up to the curb, a man in a too-tight suit, bald head gleaming in the sun, striding up with a clipboard like he was walking into a courtroom. He ignored me, inspected my car and driveway, scribbled furiously, then finally locked his beady eyes on me and introduced himself as legal counsel for the adjacent property owner. It was a performance for the ages. I stood there, avocados and bell peppers in hand, while he recited a jumble of legalese about pro-chemical leaks, community standards of cleanliness, and non-compliant vehicle alignment. He actually measured the angle of my car against the house with his finger. "At least 3 degrees off axis," he pronounced. I could only stare. This was insane. Was I being pranked? Nope, just a target in a power game I never agreed to play. Part of me wanted to lose it, to call out the madness for what it was. But when I looked at her, I saw it, that hungry look. She wanted a scene. She wanted me to get angry, to fit her script. So I pivoted. Two could play this game. I shifted my phone so it was recording, all while pretending to be contrite. "Oh my goodness, 3 degrees? I had no idea. I'm so sorry." Even the bald guy seemed surprised by my compliance, but he recovered, reminding me, ignorance is no exemption. I nodded, moved my car, made a big show of trying to get it perfect, then asked if that was better. He knelt at my bumper. Yes, actually knelt, before solemnly declaring it a marked improvement, but warned they'd be monitoring the situation. I wish I could tell you it ended there, but you know how these stories go. Next up was my welcome mat. My sister got it for me. It's blue and says, "Hope you brought tacos." The lawyer pointed at it with genuine outrage. Gross violation of the suburban aesthetic accord. Entryway ground coverings must be earth-toned and devoid of whimsy. I looked from my mat to him, to her, back to the mat. I mean, seriously? They demanded its removal, so I made a show of apologizing, tossed it inside, all while my phone captured their deranged power trip. Then came the landscaping. Apparently, my boxwood shrub was feral, non-native, and in violation of their horticultural mandates. Her identical hedge, of course, was genetically superior. I pointed that out. She didn't miss a beat. "Yours attracts pests." The lawyer nodded. "The distinction is legally significant." They insisted the bush be removed within 24 hours or face punitive damages. When I pressed for the specific law, the lawyer cited the doctrine of ad colum, which, if you know your Latin, has absolutely nothing to do with gardening. He was making it up as he went, and I played along, asking for clarification just to watch him squirm. At this point, our neighborhood audience was out in force, curtains twitching, the local gossip blatantly staring. But the show wasn't over. They started in on the way I walked, from my car to the front door, not orderly and linear enough. I had to demonstrate proper ambulation on the concrete path. So I did, marching like a robot while they critiqued my form. By now, the whole thing was so absurd it almost felt surreal, except it was my life. But it was the aftermath that changed everything. My sweet elderly neighbor called me over. "Is everything all right?" she asked, worry in her eyes. When I told her about the lawyer, she just shook her head. "Oh dear, not him again." Turns out, she'd seen this routine before. Her and her cousin, the fake lawyer, had driven out the family before me with the same fake legal threats, city complaints, and harassment. It wasn't about rules or property values. It was about control, about driving out people who didn't fit her idea of the neighborhood. Now I was angry. Now it was war. Next day, a cease and desist letter landed on my porch. Cheap paper, Times New Roman, typos everywhere, prostituted to the fullest extent of the law, instead of prosecuted. It was laughable. He'd signed it from Legal Services LLC, a company that, after a quick search, didn't exist. The phone number was a prepaid burner. The man himself? Not a lawyer. A community theater actor, part-time barista, her cousin, playing legal eagle in a suit 2 sizes too small. I had video, I had the fraudulent letter, and now I had the identity. All the evidence I needed. But the hits kept coming. They complained about the noise frequency of my electric mower, the depressing color of my black mulch. Every detail of my life became ammunition. That's when it finally hit me. This wasn't just pettiness, it was targeted, racist harassment. The mulch, my car, even the way I walked, all used as dog whistles for her bigotry. So I fought back. I documented everything. Videos, screenshots, the fake letter, his theater headshot, her social media connections. I built a file the size of a phone book. And then I hired a real lawyer, a civil rights attorney with a reputation for tearing bullies to shreds. When he saw my evidence, he grinned. "We're going to make them pay. Let them come to you. Let them make their next move." It didn't take long. A few days later, I put my taco mat back, added more black mulch, watered my plants, and waited. Like clockwork, they appeared. Her face twisted in outrage, Chip puffed up and ready to serve me a new fake lien notice for 50 grand. "You will accept this notice," he commanded, trembling. I just shook my head. "No, I think I'll wait for my lawyer." That was their undoing. My attorney arrived in a real luxury car, briefcase in hand, confidence radiating from every pore. He greeted them, asked Chip for his name, recited his acting credits, his day job, everything. "What you've done is illegal," my lawyer said, "malicious, and by any definition, outrageous." The look on their faces was priceless: shock, fear, betrayal, as their house of cards crumbled in less than 5 minutes. Chip practically ran to his car. She stood there, pale and shaking, no longer the queen of the block, just another bully exposed. The aftermath was swift. The police came, took statements, laughed at the fake letter. Chip was charged with impersonating a lawyer and fraud. His mugshot made the local news. His community theater profile disappeared overnight. She became a pariah, neighbors crossing the street to avoid her. The story of her racist, bullying campaign spreading like wildfire. My lawyer filed the lawsuit: civil harassment, discrimination, emotional distress. The settlement was substantial. To pay it, she had to sell her home. The for sale sign went up, planted right in the middle of her precious lawn. It was poetic justice. The house she'd tried so hard to protect from the imaginary threat of me now belonged to someone else. A family with kids, laughter in the yard, and a golden retriever that likes to nap in the shade of my feral boxwood bush. I used some of the settlement to donate to legal aid, so no one else on this street would have to fight alone. The rest went into my garden, full of non-native plants, the darkest black mulch you've ever seen, and a blue mat that still says, "Hope you brought tacos." I walk how I want. I park where I want. I live in peace. And every time I bring groceries in, I smile, knowing I didn't just win. I set the record straight for everyone who'll come after me. So tell me, when is enough enough? Where do you draw the line between rules and harassment, community and control? Drop your thoughts below. I want to hear your stories, your battles, your victories, your take on what it really means to belong somewhere. Because sometimes, justice is the best revenge, and a little bit of sunshine at the end of a long, crazy fight is worth every second of the storm.